na, na, na. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Gerard, how you doing, buddy? Nice response. Really nice. You dealt me such a blow there. Couple of things, though. One, you talk about how the Freedom of Choice Act will take the decision out of the hands of the American voters. Let me ask you a question. If the Freedom of Choice Act is signed into law, voted on in the Senate and the House, passes a bill, and then signed into law by the President of the United States, Barack Obama, who will make that decision? Who voted to put those people in power who are going to make that decision? Just a question. Because it seems to me like we already decided. We already voted on this. So I don't know exactly where you were going with that. Let me see. Then you go into partial birth abortions. Right. Partial birth abortions are legal now. Well, they'll be legal, and they'll be legal under the Freedom of Choice Act. But you, in a private conversation, have already stated that you would authorize an abortion if the woman's health was at risk. Health or life were at risk. You would do that. You've already stated that you would. So you would authorize a partial birth abortion if the woman's health was at risk, which is kind of what FOCA, Freedom of Choice Act, says. So you agree with that part of the law. I'm not exactly trying to get out of it. Okay? Then you go on to make the accusation, which is completely erroneous, that there's no paperwork involved in FOCA, the Freedom of Choice Act. Your evidence for this is the Freedom of Choice Act puts the stipulation on the states to put finer points on the abortion law. Okay? Which is kind of the way it is now. A lot of the laws that you're talking about that you say that FOCA will completely do away with are state laws. And FOCA, the Freedom of Choice Act, doesn't affect those laws. So, again, don't know where you were going with that. And last but not least, I don't have to deal with hardly anything else in this whole video, because let's do a little math, okay? You say, oh, it outweighs 1.2 million babies versus 5,000 women. Woo. Well, no. 1.2 million babies now, with the law in place. 1.2 million babies without the law in place. But without the law in place, there's 5,000 extra deaths. Not to mention unsanitary conditions, incompetent treatment, infection, hemorrhage, and disfiguration. And all those medical conditions will heap more stress on the health system. So where were you going with that again? Saying that no abortion is the lesser of two evils. 5,000 deaths? No. 1,205,000 deaths versus 1.2 million. With disfigurations, without disfigurations. With unsanitary conditions, without... Do I have to go on? Costing more money? Costing more money. Beyond that, I don't have to say much else. Good post.
I have captured the enemy for meat testing. Praise me! Praise me!